There are games coming out right now and over the next year that actually have no business looking this good. We're talking alien planets that look like concept art you'd frame on your wall, underwater cities with better lighting than my actual apartment, and sci-fi worlds so detailed you'll forget you're playing a game and not having some kind of very expensive breakdown. So here are 10 sci-fi games in 2026 that look too good to be real, and what they actually are, when they come out, and whether they're worth paying attention to or just very pretty tech demos. Right, let's start with one that's just came out. Pragmata launched 3 days ago after spending 6 years in development, which in Capcom time is basically a geological era. You play as Hugh, a man with all the personality of a default setting screen, and his android companion, Diana, navigating a lunar research station that's gone bloody wrong. It runs on Capcom's RE engine, which has been quietly making everything they touch look absurdly good since Resident Evil 7. The moon environments are gorgeous, the lighting is filmic, and the boss fights are properly cinematic. Critics gave it an 86 on Metacritic, though the story is the weakest link, but nobody's here for the plot, are they? On PC you're looking at over 100 frames at 2K on a decent rig, PS5 and Xbox hold 60, and Switch 2 manages 60 in handheld but gets a bit wobbly when docked. It's out now on everything and is about 60 quid. Saros. Saros is what happens when House Marquee, the studio behind Returnal, decides to make another game that looks like it was rendered by a supercomputer from the future. This is Unreal Engine 5 running on PS5 and it's absurdly good. You're on Carcosa, an alien world with a lost colony, an eclipse that changes the entire environment, and creatures that look like someone gave a nightmare a concept art budget. The previews have been ridiculously positive. IGN called it one of the most impressive PS5 games yet. The catch? PS5 exclusive, there's no PC, no Xbox, no Switch 2. If you don't own a PlayStation, this one's going to sit there looking beautiful in trailers you can't play. It launches April the 30th, 10 days from now, and it's already gone gold. Don't Nod, the studio behind Life is Strange, have apparently decided they're tired of making teenagers cry and made a full sci-fi survival game instead. Aphelion is set on Zone, a frozen planet at the edge of our solar system, and it runs on Unreal Engine 5. You play as Ariane, an astronaut trying to rescue her injured partner Thomas while being hunted by something on this planet that really doesn't want her there. The footage so far shows these massive frozen landscapes with dynamic lighting, ice caves that catch the light in ways that shouldn't be possible, and a general atmosphere that sits somewhere between Interstellar and absolute dread. It's also day one on Game Pass, which is a big deal if you don't fancy paying full price for a Don't Nod game when their track record is, shall we say, inconsistent. Out April the 28th on PS5, Xbox and PC, only 8 days away. This one launched about 4 days ago and it's actually one of the most visually unique games I've seen in ages. Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss is set in 2053, where corporations have started mining the ocean floor because we've apparently already ruined everything on the surface. Checks out. You play as Noah, an occult investigator, descending into the Pacific to find out why an entire mining station went silent. What you find in this sunken city, which is rendered in Unreal Engine with bioluminescent deep sea lighting that makes the whole thing look like an underwater cathedral designed by someone having a very bad dream. There's no combat, it's all investigation, puzzles, and a corruption system that messes with your sanity in the game's visuals. Reviews are mixed, Metacritic sitting at about 70, with praise for the atmosphere and visuals, but complaints about some puzzle designs. If you're a Lovecraft fan and you can handle a few rough edges, the environments alone are worth seeing, and this game's about $50 on PS5, Xbox and PC. Supermassive Games have been making interactive horror for years, and Dark Pictures series has been fine, sometimes good, sometimes held together with sellotape. But Directive 8020 is their first game on Unreal Engine 5 and it shows. This is set on a spaceship where the crew is being hunted by an alien organism that can mimic people, so basically it's the Thing in space, which is absolutely the right call. The character models are a massive step up from the previous entries. Skin textures, eye detail, hair. It's that uncanny valley territory where you can keep looking at faces thinking, that's almost a real person. It's still a branching narrative game with choices and consequences, but this time there's actual stealth gameplay in there too. It comes out on May the 12th on PS5, Xbox and PC, 3 weeks away. If the writing holds up, this could be the best thing Supermassive's ever made, but it's a big if though. Now, this one's a bit different from everything else on the list. Alien Deathstorm is from Rebellion, the Sniper Elite lot, and it's a first-person action horror game set on an off-world colony that's being torn apart by a cataclysm megastorm while also being overrun by aliens, so you know, it's a bad day at work. It's got that 80s sci-fi aesthetic. Think Alien meets Starship Troopers, and the visual standout here isn't photorealism, it's the sheer scale of environmental destruction. Buildings getting ripped apart, debris flying everywhere, weather effects that look actually oppressive. It's likely running on Rebellion's in-house Asura engine rather than Unreal, which means they've squeezed some impressive stuff out of their own tech. It was only announced a few weeks ago at the Xbox Partner Preview, so we've only seen the one trailer. It comes out day one on Game Pass when it launches in 2027 on PS5, Xbox and PC. Keep an eye on this one. If you watched The Expanse and thought, I wish I could live in that universe, first of all, questionable life choice. It's terrifying. Second of all, Owlcat Games are making that happen. The Expanse. Osiris Reborn is a story-driven action RPG built in Unreal Engine 5 using Nanate and Lumen, which is a fancy way of saying it looks absolutely nothing like Owlcat's previous games. They went from isometric CRPGs to fully rendered sci-fi environments with zero gravity combat, and it's a massive visual leap. You play as pink water security mercenary at the asteroid Eros, and the footage they've shown so far, station interiors, space exteriors, character detail, it sits comfortably next to games with 10 times the budget. The closed beta starts in 2 days, April the 22nd, and if you've got the collector's edition, full release is spring 2027, day one Game Pass, PS5, Xbox and PC. Exodus has been lurking in the background for a couple of years now, and every time they show some new footage it looks more and more like Mass Effect's spiritual successor that's been fed a diet of pure Unreal Engine 5. It's made by Architect Entertainment, which is basically a studio full of ex-BioWare developers who presumably got tired of watching that franchise implode and decided just to make their own thing. Matthew McConaughey is in it, because apparently that's a thing games do now. The visual showcase here is the alien worlds. Every planet they've shown looks like someone painted it, ran it through a supercomputer, and then added another layer of detail on top. The time dilation mechanic, where time passes differently depending on where you travel, also feeds into the visuals, because environments change across generations. It comes out early 2027 on PS5, Xbox and PC. There's no exact date yet, but the gameplay they've showed in March looks properly impressive. Right, this one needs an honest disclaimer. Artificial Detective was revealed at the Xbox Partner Preview a few weeks ago and it looks stunning. Dystopian near North City, you play as a robot detective investigating why all the humans have vanished. The environments are dripping with detail, rain, neon reflections, crumbling architecture. The developer is VFix, a studio made up of people who worked on Dead Space, Control and Call of Duty. Sounds great. The problem? PC Gamer pointed out that the reveal trailer was mostly pre-rendered footage with only snippets of actual gameplay. And VFix was primarily known as a 3D animation studio before this, so the visuals might actually look that good in the final game, or they might get significantly dialed back by the time it launches. I'm including it because what they've shown is actually jaw-dropping, but I'm being upfront that this is the one on the list most likely to have a visual downgrade by the time it ships. It comes out 2027 on PS5, Xbox and PC. Let's hope for the best, but prepare for reality. And finally, the one everyone's been waiting to hear about and simultaneously knows almost nothing about. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet is Naughty Dog's next game. The studio behind The Last of Us and Uncharted, making an original sci-fi IP. Set thousands of years in the future, you play as Jordan A. Munn, a bounty hunter, and the announcement trailer ran entirely in-engine on PS5, which means those character close-ups, the skin detail, the hair, the eyes, that's what the game actually looks like, and it looks ridiculous. Naughty Dog has always been the studio that squeezes performance out of the PlayStation hardware like they're trying to make it beg for mercy. And this one looks like no exception. The catch? It's PS5 exclusive, no PC announcement, no Xbox. And the release window is reportedly mid-2027, though Bloomberg noted the studio is dealing with crunch concerns, so that could slip. There's almost no gameplay footage yet, just one incredible cinematic trailer, but when Naughty Dog shows you in-engine footage, they tend to deliver. This is the big one. This is the big one. We just have to wait for it. 10 sci-fi games, some already out, some launching in the next few weeks, some not until next year. If even half of these deliver on what they've shown, 2026 and 2027 are going to be actually special for anyone who likes their games pretty and their futures bleak. Let me know in the comments which one you're looking most forward to. Subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.